Welcome back, friends, to Build a Lot Acres. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the 20-volt Bauer jet fan blower. Stay tuned. So it might get a little confusing because Bauer actually offers two different blowers with their 20-volt line. They have the jet fan blower, which you see here, 96 miles per hour and 338 CFMs or cubic feet per minute. That's the total amount of air going through the tube every minute, 338 cubic feet. And then they also offer the compact workshop blower, which has a more impressive sounding 200 mile per hour rating until you realize it's only because you have a much smaller tube that air is going through. And ultimately, it has a lot less volume going through the tube every minute. It's 120 cubic feet per minute instead of 338. So this jet fan blower is putting out approximately 3 times the amount of air the workshop blower is putting out. The compact workshop blower is really meant for blowing off tools in your workshop, hence the name workshop blower, whereas the jet fan blower is really meant for outdoor stuff, you know, leaves, grass. You could probably even use it on light snowfalls, etc., etc. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing the jet fan blower. We're going to showcase it in action, and I'll give you my initial thoughts. Don't need those. Do need that. I obviously need that. So there's really not many parts to this machine. You are going to notice, as with a lot of the Bauer tools, especially the outside tools like chainsaws, blowers, I believe the weed trimmers, they're going to recommend you use the 3 amp or bigger battery. They offer a 1.5, a 3, a 5, and 8 amp hour batteries for the Bauer 20 volt tools. I have a video where I go over the different size batteries, some of the disadvantages and advantages to each one, and I actually showcase them, the same tool with the different size batteries, and you can see the performance differences for yourself. So I'll link that video at the end of this video. On to the jet fan blower. They offer a reducing tip, so if you want to have a more compact stream of air, you can do so. And of course, I got it backwards. All right. Let's give it the biggest battery. They recommend power for this, so we're going to give it some power. We're going to give it the 8 amp hour battery. So I got 6 different size objects laid out across the floor. Everything from a small rock, ranging up to a good sized rock, and then a small chunk of wood up to a good sized chunk of wood. I don't think it's going to have any problem with these two rocks and this or that. I think If it does struggle, my prediction is going to be it's going to struggle with that big chunk of 2x6 and this biggest rock. But I think it's probably going to blow all of these out of the water. So not bad. It blew all of the objects across the floor other than this biggest rock, which might not be super easy to tell, but this is a good sized rock. It probably weighs, maybe 1.5 to 2 pounds. So I realize a lot of people that use this tool aren't going to have the 8 amp hour battery, so therefore I'm going to showcase it with the 5 amp hour and the 3 amp hour just to see if there's any real difference blowing these items. So let's try the 5. Some ways, I think you could argue the 5 actually did better than the 8. It blew that rock a little better, but that rock has uneven sides, so it could have been how I positioned the rock, but I didn't see any performance difference going from the 8 to the 5. Let's try the 3. Just for kicks and giggles, I can't be the only one curious how the 1.5 does. Let's see. So I didn't notice any difference going from the 8 to the 5. I did notice a drop in power going from the 5 to the 3, and I definitely noticed a drop of power going from the 3 to 1.5, which they don't recommend the 1.5 for this, and I can see why. They don't want you having poor performance or short battery life while using the tool. So even though they say 3 are bigger, if I was to recommend you a battery for this tool, I would get either the 5 or the 8 amp hour for maximum performance. Let's put the 8 back in and blow off some more stuff. Have you ever seen a blower blow off a blower? So I showed the blower in action. I showed my gas blower in action against the same objects. I'm going to go over some of the different advantages I think to having a battery blower, and I'll showcase some of the different blowers that I've owned, and talk about them a little bit. I'll give my initial opinions on this Bauer 20 volt jet fan blower. So this blower I bought in 2016. This is a Husqvarna 580 BTS. It's a 2-cycle blower, so it's got a gas and oil mixture just like a chainsaw would have. At the time, I think this was the biggest leaf blower on the market as far as backpack blowers go. You can get walk-behind blowers, which are more powerful, but as far as backpacks, I believe this was the biggest at the time back in 2016. Now they have bigger ones, but this thing is like 75 cc's, and I believe it's somewhere around 900 to 1,000 CFMs per minute of air. Going through the nozzle over 200 miles an hour, maybe 210, 220. So when I bought this was $500, $525, something like that. Now I think they're more like $650, maybe even $700. But this is $49.99. So for $50, that's a tool only. So granted, you have to have a battery already or buy a battery when you buy it. But for $49 versus $650, if you don't own a big property, you might not want a big backpack blower like that. I've also owned this Craftsman gas blower, which I bought at a yard sale for $25. I used that for a number of years before I bought this. I just never threw it away. I haven't used it in probably 8 years, 7 years. I think when I bought this, I stopped using that. And I also got that electric rake and vac Toro given to me by my father-in-law a long time ago, around when I got this. So that will blow and vac. It's electric, so it's kind of a pain to set up the cord, and it never really had much power, so I didn't use that much. I think I only used it once or twice, and that's when I got this because I didn't like that. And then I got this, stopped using this, and now I got this just because I wanted a new toy. So what are some of the distinct advantages to this? I would say the first advantage is you don't have to mix any gas and oil. If you're the type of person that doesn't do much yard maintenance, you only do it occasionally, or if you have a small yard, or if you just don't want to mix oil and gas together, then I think this is a great option. Batteries are easy. You can charge them, plug it in, plug and go. You can have a couple batteries ready, so if you want to use it for an extended period of time, you can. And I think it's got pretty good power for the size. I mean, you saw me blowing those objects. Those weren't easy objects by any means. That rock probably weighed 2 pounds, and it did blow it pretty good with the 5-amp battery. So I think the biggest advantage would have to be, it's cleaner. You don't have to mix gas. You don't have to have oil. Another big advantage is you can use this indoors. You don't have fumes from the engine like this one's going to have. So if you want to use it in a shop and blow off, workbenches or your floor or tools or whatever, then you can use it in the wintertime indoors. You don't have to worry about fumes. You don't have to worry about any, kind of negative health effects from that. And I would say another big advantage is the physical size. You can see how much smaller it is than this machine. So you put this on your back, you're talking, 25, 30 pounds or so. Carry that around all day for 8 hours. Landscapers can attest. It can get tiring, whereas this, weighs much, much less, and it's physically much smaller, so you can get into tighter areas. So with that said, is this going to replace this? No. The different tools, different realms of the leaf blowing universe. This is a monster powerhouse. This is more of a handheld convenience blower. Yes, it's nice, but if you're doing a big yard like I am, you have over an acre of grass and you have tons and tons of trees dropping leaves in the fall, I would not want to depend on the Bauer. I would want to depend on the Husqvarna or a big other blower. It could be another brand of leaf blower for a backpack. It could be a walk behind, which I've used like Billy Goat, stuff like that. Or you could even spend 20 or 30 grand, get one of those nice drive on Ventrac type blowers that have the huge turbines, but for most people, they're not going to spend that. Even a lot of landscapers aren't going to spend that kind of money for a leaf blower. So No, this is not going to replace that. Yes, this is bigger. Yes, it's heavier. Yes, it's more awkward. Yes, you have to mix the gas and oil. But you got way more power with this guy than you're ever going to get with this guy. And if you want to get something done in a hurry, I think you'd still be better off with a gas blower than a battery. But there's definitely benefits to battery tools in general. And I think they're a great option for a lot of people. And considering it's, a 14th or so of the price of this, I think it's hard to deny that it can be a real valuable option in the world of leaf blowing. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm going to have other videos showcasing Bauer tools, such as the Bauer pole saw behind me. I also have videos showing different size Bauer batteries and how they stack up in the same tools. We do head-to-head comparisons. I'm going to link that right now.